Oh, all right. Well, happy Saturday, everybody. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been interested in starting something, but thought of having to figure it out just stopped you? Not necessarily because you were afraid of the work, not because you were incapable, but because you already had enough responsibilities you didn't want to add another complicated situation to your life. That is something I think a lot of people misunderstand when they hear starting a business. They immediately picture themselves sitting alone, trying to create everything from scratch, trying to figure it out, what to do, trying to find the right information, trying to solve every problem, and hoping they do not make an expensive mistake along the way. But one of the things I appreciate most about this business is that I did not receive just only a opportunity. I received access to information, access to training, access to people who already done what I was learning to do, access to a community where I could ask questions instead of sitting by myself trying to guess. As and for me, that made a big, humongous difference because there's a difference between being independent and being isolated. You can own your own business and still be connected to people. You can be responsible for your own progress without being expected to know everything on day one. You can make your own decisions while still having guidance available to you. That is the part I don't think people hear enough. When I became a travel agent, I didn't already know everything about the travel industry. I did not wake up knowing every supplier, every booking process, every policy, or every step involved in helping a client. I had to learn. And to be honest, I'm still learning. But I was not handed a business and then told, good luck, go figure it out. There was training available, there were systems, there were experienced people I could learn from. There were other business owners who understood the questions I had because they had once had same questions. And that matters, especially when you're building something alongside real life. Some people are working full time, some are raising children, some are caring for family members, like myself. Some are rebuilding after layoff, that was me. Financial setback, that's me. A loss, that was me. And God knows a major life transition. Those people do not necessarily need another situation that makes them feel more alone. They need structure. They need simplicity. They need to know where to go when they get stuck. They need to understand that asking for help does not mean they're not capable of owning their own business. It means they're smart enough to use the resources available to them. I think back to different moments when I had questions and didn't understand something. Instead of spending hours or searching all over the internet, how I found accurate information and just hoping, like, ooh, where's it at? I could connect with someone. I could attend a training. I could reach out to someone in the community. I could listen to people who were further along than I was. Now, does that mean someone else did the work for me? No. Support does not replace personal responsibility. You still have to learn. You still have to follow through. You still have to communicate. You still have to develop your own skills. You still have to make decisions for your business. But there's a major difference between doing the work and having to invent the entire process by yourself. The difference is support. And support can look different depending on what you need. Sometimes support is someone answering a question. Sometimes it's someone showing you how to use a system. Sometimes it's just listening to a training and realizing that the challenge you experience is normal. Sometimes it's being connected to someone who has more experience in an area you're still learning in. And sometimes support is simply knowing that there are other people building too. Because entrepreneurship can really feel lonely when you don't have people around you who understand what you're trying to create. Not everyone in your personal life will understand why you're building a business. They may care about you, but they may not understand the process. They may not understand why you're learning new skills. They may not understand why you're being more intentional about your time. They may not understand why you're willing to do something unfamiliar. That is why becoming and being connected to a business community can matter. You're already around people who understand the language. They understand the questions, they understand the learning curve, they understand that progress doesn't always happen overnight. And they remind you that you're not the only person who's ever felt uncertain while learning something new. See, I also wanted to be clear about something. I really do. Being connected does not mean you have to become the loudest person in the room. It doesn't. It doesn't mean that you have to talk to everybody all day. It doesn't mean you lose your individuality. I'm an introvert. I value my space. I value being able to think and work independently. That's so important to me. But I also recognize the value of being connected to the right people, the right support, the support that doesn't smother you. It helps you move more with clarity. It helps you avoid unnecessary confusion. It gives you somewhere to turn when you need direction. And it can help you grow into the type of business owner you may not yet see yourself becoming. See, that is why when someone asks me when I receive what I receive through this business, I cannot reduce the answer to a website or a training portal. Those things are important, but also I receive relationships, I receive mentorship, I receive examples, I receive people who show me what's possible. And now, as I continue building, I have the opportunity to provide that same sense of connection to someone else. Not by promising that everything will always be easy. Not by pretending that support means that they will never face a challenge, but by letting them know that they do not have to face every challenge alone. That is important to me, because I know what it feels like to carry a lot of responsibility. I know what it feels like to have to make decisions and figure out your next move. And I know that sometimes the right environment can make the difference between someone giving up and someone realizing maybe I really can learn how to do this. I would not know where to start. I I I do not I don't have experiences. I don't have enough people. I'm not sure I could figure everything out. There's that the better question may not be whether you already know how to do something. The better question may be, would you be willing to learn if you had training, guidance, and people to connect with along the way? Because you're not expected to begin as an expert. You begin as someone willing to learn. And over time, you gain the knowledge, you gain the experience, you gain the confidence, you learn what works for you. You begin to understand your strengths. And eventually, you may become part of the support that another new person needs. That's how community works. Someone helps you understand the next step, and eventually you become capable of helping someone else understand theirs. So, no, I don't build this business alone. I own my business. I am responsible for my business, but I'm connected to a larger community and I have access to support. For me, that combination matters. Ownership without isolation, independence without having to figure out everything from scratch. See, I have a cleaning business too. And when I started that cleaning business, I did it from scratch. I had nobody to talk to. And goodness knows, I tried to talk to some people. And I don't know what it was. They must have thought that I was trying to take their clients. I don't know if they noticed that. I don't know where you live, but in the state of Virginia, you can be at the stoplight and look to your left and look to the right, and there was another cleaning company vehicle there. There was endless amount of inventory. So it was different trying to start that business alone from scratch without any guidance. It was. But so I didn't want to repeat the cycle and add another business that I had to figure it out from scratch. So, um, yeah, responsibility with guidance is available. And if the support side of business ownership has ever been one of your concerns, inbox me the word support. I'll send you, we'll talk about some things, and I'll let you see what the business and support system actually looks like on this side of the travel business. Then you can decide whether it makes sense for the life you're currently living. No assumptions, no pressure, just enough information to make an informed decision. And y'all know what time it is. It is Saturday, and it is time for you guys to have a phenomenal